ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय। भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय। शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय। स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी प्रबुधानंद भगवान की जय। माता पिता की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्रीमद् Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, and we are still looking at verse number 18. कर्मण्य कर्मयः पश्येत् कर्माणि च कर्मयः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तकृत् संक्रमकृत्। We are still looking at verse number 18, which says, the one who sees actionlessness in action, who is able to see akarma in karma and action in actionlessness, karma in akarma, while doing nothing still doing a karma, is a wise among human being. That person is a yogi who has done everything that is to be done. The one who sees actionless in action and action in actionless is wise among human beings. That person is yogi who has done everything that is to be done. What is to be done? He has done it. He has done what is to be done, and what is to be done are both considered to be karma. Shankaracharya ji has written a huge bhashyam on this, a long commentary, and Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji has explained it in detail, which we have been doing. And today we will further see a Buddhiman is the one who has understood the realities, the one who has done what is to be done. The Buddhiman is one who has understood the realities. Buddhiman, the wise person, is one who sees that even so-called a karma, inaction, is nothing but karma. यह अकर्माणि कर्म पश्यत सह बुद्धिमान. Atma being a karta. And because one understands this fact about Atma, one sees a karma in karma itself. And because of that, he is a buddhiman. Yah karmani akarma pasyet sah buddhiman. The person recognizes the fact of Atma being actionless, and that recognition, if it is true, is not altered whether karma is done or not. This recognition has nothing to do with karma. It is recognition to the Swarupa, the nature of Atma. When we talk about the Swarupa of Atma, we say that Atma is essentially a karta. This statement is made with reference to kartatva, doership. This statement is made with the reference to the doership, which is superimposed on Atma. And it is superimposed on Atma because of ignorance. Because we have not understood the Swarupa of Atma. Generally, one has the mistaken notion, I am a doer, aham karta. And the correction of this mistake makes you see that you are a karta. That you are a karta is a fact to be recognized. Therefore, you cannot ask, when will I become an akarta? Nowhere is it said that you have to become an akarta, a non-doer. You need to see a karma in karma. While doing karma, you have to understand that you, the Atma, is not the doer of all these karmas. There is no question of your becoming a karta. You are a karta. Atma is a karta. To be a karta, you only have to see the fact. To be a karta, you have to just understand the fact. Then you are a buddhiman, a wise person among the people who have buddhis but do not use them. The meaning of buddhiman is something like that of dhanavan, a rich person. As we said before, to have money does not mean that you are a rich person. Only if you have money to give are you a rich person. If you have money to give, are you a rich person. A man who has money to spend on himself and on others when necessary is a rich man. Whereas a man with money who does not think he has enough to spend on himself or for a cause is just a moneyed man, not a rich man. To rich man, you have to have the ability to spend. It is important to understand the difference between moneyed person and a rich person. The rich person is one who feels rich. A person who has only a rupee in his pocket and gives it to someone who has not eaten for 2 days is a rich man. Because although he has so little, he has spent money to spare. He has no money, but he is rich. He is ready to spend. Whereas another man may have millions of rupees, but cannot spend it on himself or on others. Such a person is moneyed, but not rich. In other words, a miser, kripana, kanjus. In Vedaranakya Upanishad, Yajnavalkya tells Gargi, the one who dies not knowing Brahman is miser. Why is he or she considered a miser? Because the person has had an intellect, that he or she never used. Just as money, if is of no use to a person who will not spend it, what is the use of having it, an intellect, if one cannot or will not use it? In Vedaranyaka Upanishad, this was a great statement made by a great Yajnavalkya Rishi, Maharishi. The one who has buddhi and doesn't utilize it in knowing Brahman, knowing the truth about own self, is a miser person, is a kripana. One who has buddhi and does not spend it is a miser person. Such a person use the intellect as little as possible. Keep it as it is. The man may exercise his intellect just a little to learn something in order to please his parents. He may even get a job, but that is the maximum he is willing to use his intellect for. He does not read anything, not even the newspaper. He sits staring at the TV without using his intellect at all. Why should he use it? For this kind of life, he need not use it at all. No real thinking is ever done by such a person. Real thinking is thinking about the realities, because you are dealing with reality, the real estate. There must be a thinking, otherwise you are dealing only with shadows. In the realities, if the realities are not known, you may be fighting in the area where no fighting is required. There is no fighting required in earning money, in eating. Even animals eat. If reality are not known, you may be fighting in the area where no fight is required. One who thinks about fundamental realities of himself, the world and God, who knows what is all about, is buddhiman. This person is rich. He or she has an intellect to use and to spare. The buddhiman has used the buddhi for himself or herself and shares the knowledge gained with the others. Thus, in this verse, Krishna is saying that among the people who have buddhi, this person is only one who is wise. Saha buddhiman manushyesu. Just as some people have money without being rich, some people have buddhi without being wise. A buddhiman, however, is a yogi, kritsan karma krit, one who has done all that is to be done. The one who has done all that is to be done by discovering the Atma to be a karta, the wise person has completely destroyed all the karmas. The self being full, Purna, there is nothing more this person to do at any time. The self as a karta is not some time affair. Once the self is known to a karta, it will never become karta again. When we say Atma is a Sangha, we mean that it is free from being a karta and a bhokta, which means it is free from sukha and dukkha, sansara. When it is said that Atma is always Ananda, it means Atma is Purna, full, limitless. This knowledge makes a person kritsan karma krita. Everything that is to be done has been done in one stroke. Nothing needs to be done for the person to be happy. Whatever karmas the person had to fulfill by taking many births have been fulfilled. The karmas are completely taken care of. Any activity he or she undertakes later is born of joy, not for gaining some security and happiness. The person may continue to do same thing he or she did before. What one does not alter the fact that one is a karta, the one who has understood the akarta. The one who is free from being a karta and bhokta is free from sukha, dukkha, the sansara. He is purna. He is full, limitless. This knowledge makes one, the person, kritsan karma krit. Kritsana karma krit. Everything that is to be done has been done. As long as there is a doer, a karta, there is action, even in so-called inaction. A wise person, buddhiman, is able to see this because I am not doing anything and implies a karta. Both karma and akarma becomes karma. Both karma and akarma becomes karma in the vision of the wise. Whenever there is doership, there is always some action or the other. Therefore, everything becomes action, be it in action or inaction. The buddhiman is always able to see a karma in both karma and akarma, because for such person there is no doership in the self. Atmani kartav abhava. He or she knows that while karta, the doer is non-separate from the self. The self is not the doer because the person has this knowledge. He or she is said to be wise among human beings and is described as one who has done everything that is to be done without expectation. Sah buddhimana manusheshu sa kratsana karma krata. When there is no kartatva in the Atma, what karma is there for me to do? If I am not the karta, how can I perform action? Even if all four Vedas enjoin me, if they say, "Oh karta, please do this ritual," I can only respond if I am the karta. When someone says, "John, please come here," only John will come. No one else. Just as an individual is being addressed here, so too the Vedas also addresses the individuals. "O person, please do these karmas. Karma kuru." All the karmas are for individuals who still have the buddhi, the individuality. Who is the person the Vedas are addressing? Is it the Satchitananda Atma or the Karta? They are definitely addressing the Karta, the doer. And what happens if there is no Karta? There is no response. A wise person does not respond because he is not a Karta. Only when there is Karta, a doer, does the addressing of Veda have an effect. Otherwise it is useless. The enjoined karmas are also useless because they are all well done. For kritsan karma krit, all karmas are done. Ho gaya. Even karma yoga no longer applies to the wise person. There is no karma yoga for jnani. Karma yoga is one who takes care of his or her raga dveshas, likes and dislike, by doing that is to be done with a proper attitude. towards the action and their result. The Vedas address both the Karma Yogi and the person who performs action strictly to accomplish certain desirable ends, because both of them have kartatva, doership. Only the Jnani, the one who sees in action, is not addressed by Vedas, because such a person sees Atma as a karta, the non-performer of action. If I am the non-performer of action and enjoining done by the Vedas or anything else does not come to me at all. Therefore, whatever has to be done before is all over. I am a kritsan karma krit. Kritsan karma krit. There is nothing more for me to do, and anything that is to be done later is also taken care of. Before knowledge, all actions are meant for me, for my sukha, happiness. I want them cheerfulness. I want some cheerfulness, tranquility, antahkaran shuddhi. Then with such a mind I can achieve self-knowledge, which is seeing non-action in action. Karmaniya karma darshanam. To see non-action in action is to be understood that I am a karta, a non-doer. Thus, for the sake of self-knowledge alone, I perform all the karmas that are to be done by me. Even a kami, one who is not interested in self-knowledge but just want to fulfill certain desires, has to perform action which are meant for the kami. The one who has desires, because the person feels inadequate, he or she has desires that necessitate the performance of action. Suppose one understands that self is not adequate, it is adequate or more than adequate, then there is no desire for action. In fact, because the self is full, words like adequate and inadequate do not even come into the picture. Therefore, the person who knows this, there is nothing to be done. Karyam karma na vidyate. When the mind, meaning the ahankara, ego, is resolved in the Atma, there is nothing for the person to do. In the wake of knowledge, ahankara, the I notion, the karta is resolved in the Atma, and there is no longer any question of Atma being the karta. When there is no karta, there is nothing to be done, which is why the person is called kritsan karma krit. One has done everything that is to be done in the past as well as in the future. The person for whom there is nothing to be done is a jnani, the wise person, because there is nothing to be done for such a person. He or she is free to do lot of things. When there is nothing to be done, what is there that is to be done? There is no mandate for a jnani enjoining him to do any particular action or prohibiting him from doing any particular action. His or her job is over. Thereafter the person's will has no place at all. Whatever will the person had before knowledge has been successfully used up. Having served its purpose, this is why sannyasis do not leave will when they die. When sannyasi die, there is no will. They have no will to leave a will. Only when will is there, can there be a will. Sometime if the sannyasi has many disciples, not leaving will can cause problem as to who is to succeed him or her and so on. Whereas if he or she is a traditional parampara sannyasi and the disciples have been taught well, there will be no problem. There will be no weighing for the sannyasi's seat, because there is no seat. There is no organization for a seat to be there. Even disciple is a seat, in fact. A true sannyasi doesn't have organizations, mathas, ashrams. A true sannyasi doesn't need all these things. A jnani doesn't need all these things. In Hindu tradition, Vedic dharma, there is no organization or hierarchical structure, no papacy, desos, harya or congregation. Dharma, of course, has no organization, and in that dharma there is a person, a sannyasi, who also has no organization. The word sannyasi means that the person just lives only with the sky above him or her. The person is the only organization that is there. There is no organizational head or organization. And if he or she has disciples, every disciple there maybe is an organization. The sannyasi does not even need the text of the Upanishad or Gita. Everything is in form of understanding within the person's head. This is how the parampara tradition is. Once self-knowledge is gained, the job of wise person is over. And there is no will left. It has been used up. The will is useful only until moksha, just as one's checkbook is useful as long as one's account is not closed. Once the account is closed, what is the use of checks that you still have? They are useless. You can fill them out and give them to some people, but they have no meaning. Similarly, when moksha is gained, the will is useless. The account is closed, sir. The accountant has struck one of the person's name with a red pen and has removed the file. One more jiva is gone, finished, and with this jiva goes everything else, meaning that all the karmas, term deposit simply evaporates. There is no longer anyone to claim them. Just as when a person dies, he or her file is marked deceased. So too the jiva's file is closed and dispensed with, because there will be no further transactions or complications. No one else is going to claim the jiva's karma. It is all over in Gyan. In Gyan only it is all over. In Jnanam, once you have achieved Jnana, only then the file is shredded and burned with no trace left behind. Therefore the person is krit san karma krit. Having gained moksha, the person has nothing more to do. After gaining moksha, there are no ashrams left, sir. There is nothing. You don't need any organization. It is only before understanding the individuality is there, and that individuality needs all these organizations. Objections presented in Vedanta. Here there is one small but highly technical objection raised by Shankaracharya. The objection is based on different interpretation that sometimes given into this verse. Objections are raised in various ways in Vedanta. Certain philosophies are presented as sparring partners for us, like Sankhya and Vaisheshika, schools of thought. There is also a person referred to Purva Mimamsaka, who is little more than the sparring partner. Mimamsa is the analysis of sentences of the Vedas. The analysis of the sentences is in the earlier portion, Purva Bhaga, and Karma Kanda is called Purva Mimamsa, while the analysis of the sentences of Uttara Bhaga, the later portion, which is Vedanta, is called Uttara Mimamsa. Then there are those who are not really sparring partners at all. They are opponents, like the Buddhas and the Jains, who have their own philosophy and have to be answered. To understand what Vedanta is saying, We use all of these as sparring partners by analyzing these particular arguments. Some are permanent sparring partners, others are by invitation only, and with still others we do shadow fighting. The philosophy of Purva Mimamsa is very simple. The Veda is eternal and is the final word in everything. According to Purva Mimamsaka, the Veda enjoins you to do karma alone. For this person, knowledge is not moksha. Performing karma is the only way to gain moksha, because the Purva Mimamsa analyzes the Pramana so well. We make use of his method of analysis in Vedanta. What is the Purva Mimamsaka's argument? According to Purva Mimamsaka, all sentences of Veda deal primarily with action and therefore do not really convey anything that is already there. It should be clearly understood that the sentence throughout the Veda can be taken as a command in terms of what is to be done, Vaidika Vakya, or what is not to be done, Nishedha Vakya, Vidhi Vakyas and Nishedha Vakyas. Any sentence that reveals the nature of an object is connected or subserves either the Vidhi Vakya or Nishedha Vakya. This analysis of karma mimamsa is very important, because by the orientation of any human mind, even the mind of those who are lazy in towards karma action, a person who is lazy is bothered because of the action that he or she does not perform. Thus both the active and the lazy are oriented towards karma alone. That there is something to be done is the truth about everyone. For Purva Mimamsaka, then moksha can only be gained by performing Nitya Naimitika Karma. Nitya Karmas are daily rituals that one has to perform daily and regularly on certain days. Naimitik Karmas are those karmas that have to be done on certain occasions, as at the time of an eclipse. And these Nitya Naimitik karmas are to be done by everyone. Moksha, according to the Purva Mimamsaka, also involves not doing any kamya karma, the action done for specific desirable result. One must do only those actions which are duties. The idea here is to avoid both punya and papa. By not planning or performing any kamya karma, punyas is avoided, and by not doing what is not to be done, papa is avoided. In this way, the prarabdha karma that brought this body into being will exhaust itself without your needing or to do anything about it. The capital will be lost and the body will die. Having avoided all punyas and papa, there will be no new karmas for you, and therefore no cause of death, new birth. All you have to do is keep eating daily and do your nitya naimitik karma. This is one argument for gaining moksha through karma, the simple argument of the Purva Mimamsaka, or let us say Purva Pakshi. Two set of karmas, nitya karma and naimitik karma, are called duties. The Purva Mimamsaka argues that because they are duties, there is no result for you when you do them. In other words, they do not produce punya. And when you do not do these karmas, the omission attracts papa to you. This is crux of Purva Mimamsaka's argument. How can one attract papa by not doing an action? An example is given. When a person bathes, no one notices. Because it is common activity, no one says, "Oh, you seem to have taken a bath today." But suppose the person does not bathe, this omission is definitely noticed. If not by all, definitely by some. Thus, the Purva Mimamsaka's argument is that there are actions to be done, and if these are not done, there is a result. Nitya Naimetik karma do not attract any result when they are done. Only when they are not done do they attract result. Papa. These words can therefore not be seen from this standpoint. From the Purva Mimamsaka, the word karmani is the expression karmani, a karma. Yah pasyet means nitya naimetik karmani, in this action that are to be done daily or occasionally, and a karma refers to the absence of any result, phala abhava. Thus expression is taken to mean that one who sees a karma, the absence of the result is nitya naimetik karma, is wise. However, if there is no result to be gained, nitya naimetik karma cannot be called a karma at all, because there is no doer. To this Purva Mimamsaka says, no, there is a doer. Atma is the karta, therefore you cannot nullify the doer. The result alone is not there, and because there is no result, the karma becomes as good as a karma. If there is no result, why perform action? At this point in the argument, any particular person is going to ask, if there is no result, why should I perform the action? After all, is it not more pleasant to do nothing? To do all these nitya naimetik karma takes lot of time. If there is no result, surely I need not do them. No, comes the reply. Because if you don't do them, you will bring trouble upon yourself. There are many people who choose to go to heaven only because their mortality afraid of hell. Not because they are interested in heaven. Hell has been painted so vividly in their mind that naturally they cannot stand to think of having to go there. Even to hear about it makes their blood pressure go up. Therefore they want to avoid hell by going to heaven. This kind of heaven-hell discussion is what pushes people into religion in fact. If the heaven and hell aspects were removed, these religions would topple. No one would even look into them. Even the karma that is to be done by you is not done. You attract papa, and therefore it is to be done according to how some people interpret karmani akarma. Portion of these words and expression akarmani karma is interpreted as not doing an action that is to be done. According to this argument, if the to be done action is not done, a result phala is produced and it becomes karma. Therefore karma is a karma and a karma is karma. A karma produces phala and karma does not. The one who sees in this way is wise among human beings and has done all that is to be done. Saha buddhiman manusheshu saha yukta kritsan karma karat. This is the Purva Mimamsaka's argument, to which Shankaracharya ji responds. Now, see, Purva Pakshi has put up a point. In the verse 18, Purva Pakshis have their own theory of knowledge. Now Shankaracharya ji is going to answer to that theory, which we will see tomorrow. That how this theory is not in line with the Jnanam. It is not right. How to correct the error in this? This we will see tomorrow. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om